All right, welcome back to another episode of the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Tonight we got myself and Richie joining us here. Hey, Richie, how's your Friday going, man? Happy
Hey,
Friday, happy weekend.
hey, man! It's Friday. We made it. Praise the Lord, man! I'm glad it's finally here. Tomorrow we got our live show, Carter.
Yeah,
First one.
absolutely. So we'll jump into that. We got live show tomorrow noon. We're going to be at Cigar 30 up in Canton, Ohio, or down depending on where you are. I'll put the graphic on the screen here, but I'm really pumped up, man. Like the closer this gets, the more I'm getting pumped up about it, and just really excited to go up there and hang out with people and just get it all popping. I mean, we're gonna get there, get set up, and then we'll kick off the show around noon. Doors open at like 10 a.m. So if you want to get there early, by all means, come up, say what's up, buy some cigars, get ready. We're gonna talk college football, break down the Notre Dame game again. I believe Ohio State Purdue kicks off at noon, so we'll be watching that while we're live and reacting to that in real time and just having a good time, man. It's really exciting. This is as we grow this platform and continue to grow the show and do these things and bring people on like Richie and all these different things that we're doing. It just gets more exciting, man. Like it's going to be so fun, and we're building an audience and a group, like a community. And I can't wait to see some of the people that are coming out. We got some people from Northern Ohio that I know that I think are showing up. Richie's got some people that are showing up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. And Cigar 30, from what I've seen online, and I talked to the owner, Dylan, the other day, has a really cool little setup there. We're going to be in the members lounge, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is that only for members on normal
It's
days?
only for members on normal days
Yeah,
when
but
they
I
have
asked
like
Dylan about that, and if you say you're here for the podcast, they're going to let you come into the members lounge and sit with us while we do our show and hang out. And it's a cool little setup. He showed me a little bit of it, pictures of it, things like that. So it's going to be fun, man. We got this one tomorrow, November 9th, noon, Canton, Ohio, Cigar 30. Be there. We're going to have a blast. And then after the show, we'll probably go for an hour and a half, depending on how long it is, we'll go until we're done.
yeah
And then after that, we'll hang out, watch some football and just kind of chill and interact with the people and have some fun. So I'm pumped up for that, man.
yeah me too. It's a very cool spot to meet people and just hang out, and I probably won't be able to sleep tonight because I'm so
Right.
it's like so giddy.
Absolutely, man. But we got a big weekend of college football to talk about. We got a bunch of stuff. I was on social media today, and got some stuff that I saw. First thing is, man, a big announcement came out either this morning or last night for some new games on the schedule for Notre Dame. And this one's cool, man. Like especially with this year with what they're doing. So in 2026, you're gonna have Notre Dame hosting the SMU Mustangs. And it's going to be in South Bend, Indiana. Obviously, we don't know the date yet or time. It's still down the road. We'll get there when we get there, but it's going to be awesome. I think this is a cool little, I don't think they're doing a home and home. I don't know. Maybe they are, but you're going to have SMU coming into Notre Dame Stadium. Obviously, SMU right now is a potential playoff team, and that's more than just about every team on Notre Dame's schedule this year can say. So it's a cool game, man. I mean, those are
Yeah,
two
it's
historic programs.
yeah.
You know, obviously SMU with their Eric Dickerson days, their Pontiac Trans Am days, and the death penalty and all that, and they joined the ACC and are paying for it out of pocket, not taking a dime from the ACC right now. So this is just a cool game. I'm excited. I'm hopefully I'm going to go to this game. It should be awesome. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Just seeing
I
this
think
in the graphic.
I think seeing this. I mean, this is the first time I saw it today. Busy with work and whatnot today. Seeing SMU has been a surprise team this year for me at least. They've come out of it has surprised some people with how well they've been playing this year. I think it's going to be it's going to be an exciting game when come in 2 years when they travel to South Bend, and we'll see how well they can build off from this year and next year leading up to the game against Notre Dame in 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now is an important time for that program. I think I mean, honestly, they have a shot right now to get into the ACC championship in their first year and potentially take on Miami. And how fitting would it be if Miami goes to an ACC championship game, faces SMU beats them, and SMU wins an ACC title in their first year in the conference when Miami has never been able to win an ACC title in all their years in the conference? Like, I mean, that would just be
the ultimate middle finger to the Canadian faithful.
Yeah, like, guys, it's not that hard. We did it year one.
Yeah, like where have you been, bro? Like, come on, get on our level.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Excited to see what the SMU program looks like in 2026. I think they're on a trajectory to be a major player in the ACC, assuming that there's so much that can change from now till 2026. I mean, we're talking about super conferences or super leagues and everything like that. Like, who knows what college football is going to look like then? But it's a cool thing to think about. And that I hate when they announce, like, I think Ohio State has a home and home scheduled with like Alabama in 2028 or something like that. It's like, that's so far away.
That's so far away. You don't know how good these guys are going to be or how good these teams are. That's why I don't like 4 years, 5 years down the road. Oh, they're supposed to play so-and-so. It's like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, like,
how can you tell how good they're going to be in that time frame?
Well, there's that, and like the reason Ohio State's schedule has been so easy this year, or however you want to frame it, they had a home and home scheduled with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be one of their non-conference games, and after they scheduled it, couple years later, Washington joins the Big Ten. So they can no longer do a home and home with them because they're in conference now. So now you have to scramble and you have to get Western Michigan or whatever to replace that because all the big time schools already have their non-conference stuff scheduled from years ago. And it's like, who even knows? Notre Dame might be in a conference in 2026. They might not play this, but at least it's 2026. So it's less likely. But when you go out 4, 5, 6 years, like, nobody knows what college football is going to look like in 2030.
And the thing is, too, what kind of just sprung to my mind was, how the NFL does it with every 4 years with their scheduling? Mm-hmm. Like, the NFC South is playing, I forget who they're playing the NFC West or or somebody
West or something like that. Yeah.
You rotate teams every 4 years. Mm-hmm. And if Ohio State's number 2, they play the number 2 team from the SEC the next year, something like that. That'd be kind of cool to see if they could adopt something like that schedule wise.
Yeah, and I think we're getting to that. I think that's probably coming when we get to the Super League, mm-hmm. right? Where let's say, I mean, right now you're looking at minimum 2 conferences, right? Like AFC, NFC. You're gonna have SEC, Big 12 or Big 10. Or they could include the Big 12 and the ACC and make it 4 conferences and then do something similar to what the NFL does where like every 3 years you just play a different conference for your out of division games or whatever. Yeah. I think that would be cool. You think about the matchups you would get like Ohio State, Alabama every 3 years.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. It would be crazy. Instead of having Ohio State play Akron, Western Michigan, and like these cupcake teams, and having, the SEC the week before their biggest rivals play Chattanooga and Charleston Southern and all these like shit teams, you'd actually have games that mean something.
Like meaningful games that
you can't sleepwalk through. Like even if you have the number 1 team in the SEC play like the number 12 team in the Big Ten, like at least it's a program people know the name. Like you're not playing Furman or some shit.
Yeah.
That's
so LSU. Yeah. Some shit program like you said. Yep.
Yeah, you'd get Northwestern versus Texas, and it's like, okay, Texas probably wins that game handily, but at least cool it's a program.
Yeah, it'd be still cool to see. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's something cool. that could be coming down the road as we move towards this Super League model, which is going to happen. That's just, I think everybody knows at this point that the Super League's happening. Like, it's just a matter of if it's 40 teams or 70 teams, like whatever it's going to be. But moving on, transitioning from that, last night, obviously, Thursday night football. We don't talk a whole lot of NFL on here. Obviously, you're a big Buccaneers fan. I'm a big Browns fan. Duke likes the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so we pay attention to it. But did you watch last night's game?
I was watching it when, after we were chatting, and I saw Jamar Chase just.
Oh my God, dude!
He got me 61 points in one league.
Yeah, in my league, my nephew Cam has it, and he's playing. He's playing his dad, Zach, my brother, and he had 67 points. like that's just unfair. And then, but on top of that, like the Bengals go out and they had a lead. They were up 21-7. I thought the Bengals were going to just walk away with this game. And then they obviously it's the NFL and the Ravens are a good team. So you can never be up by enough. There's always an opportunity in the NFL. Yep. Somebody can come back at any moment. And the Ravens did that. But here's an interesting stat that I saw today, and I have to put it on the screen here. And so there's only 2 times in NFL histories where a quarterback has thrown for 30 plus completions, 300 plus yards, 4 plus touchdowns, no more than 1 interception, and still lost. Both instances were Joe Burrow versus the Ravens this year.
Ooh.
I mean, that's brutal.
That is brutal.
That's brutal. First of all, Joe Burrow has been balling all year long, like absolutely balling out, having a great year. Jamar Chase, absolutely balling after his first 2 weeks or whatever were kind of iffy because I think he was rusty from not participating in any of the offseason pretty much. Yeah. But I mean, their playmakers are making plays.
It's just the rest of the team trying to get on the same page.
Well, the problem is their offensive line sucks. They can't run the ball to save their life. And their defense is trash.
Yes. Yeah.
And on top of that, and this is where it comes back to, bigger, obviously players play the game. So it's easy to put I don't know how you pin these losses on Joe Burrow. He's played phenomenal, but you can pin the losses on the defense for not getting a stop when they should have, or, things like that. But at the end of the day, you have to look at, is Zach Taylor the guy? Is Zach Taylor actually a good coach, or is he just a beneficiary of having I would argue, generational quarterback?
I'd say he hit his peak when they went to the Super Bowl that year, and they were pretty close.
And that's the thing. They went to the Super Bowl that was Joe Burrow's second year, I believe.
Second year. I think that was Zach Taylor's second year too.
Yeah. And so they go to the Super Bowl, which phenomenal run.
Right.
All the praise in the world for that. But I think it gives these owners and these coaches this false sense of success. Like, you went to the Super Bowl, that's success. Like, as a Browns fan, trust me, I would give my left nut to go to a Super Bowl. But at the same time, you haven't built off that. Like, you haven't been anything. Like, you've continued to be the same team, actually gotten worse since then. Because you can't pay players, because Joe Burrow is no longer on his rookie contract. Jamar Chase is going to have to be paid. They had to get rid of Joe Mixon. They couldn't keep Von Bell, not Von Bell. What was that safety's name? Anyways, they've had to lose pieces through the process. They're going to lose T. Higgins after this year, and
they might lose. Did Jamar Chase sign an extension?
No.
So he could walk in the offseason.
No, he's still got 1 year plus a team option for another year. So he tried to get a new deal done 1 year early. Like, that's what it was. Like, Justin Jefferson got his deal done in going into his 4th year. Jamar tried to get it done going into his 3rd or maybe 5th, 4th, whatever. But the thing is, at this point, and here you go, right here, is the Bengals front office. You put Tony Dungy at head coach, and they would still suck.
He's right.
I don't disagree.
I do not disagree either.
I don't know if Zach Taylor's the answer, but I do know that, and I honestly don't know if it's even just the front office. I would say it's ownership.
Yeah, I mean, it's Mike Brown, dude.
And the reason is, like, they offered Jamar Chase a contract that any wide receiver in the world would sign, minus one caveat. So they offered him, I think it was the same contract Justin Jefferson got, but they gave him zero guaranteed money. So he was going to make as much as Justin Jefferson on a yearly basis, but they could cut him at any time. There's no guaranteed money there. And the reason is the Brown family doesn't have the liquid assets and the cash to continue to give out massive guaranteed contracts, because when you guarantee a contract in the NFL, you have to put something like 80% of it into an escrow account. So when they gave Joe Burrow, whatever it was, $200 million guaranteed, they have to put $180 million of that into an escrow account to back it, because you can't just be like, yeah, I guarantee I'll pay you $1 billion, right? And then you don't have it and you can't pay them, right? So the NFL has safeguards to make sure people don't do that. But the problem with the Brown family is majority of their wealth is tied up in this team. They have some wealth outside of it, but it's not a liquid. It's not like Jerry Jones, who's got oil money, or the Haslams, who's got Pilot J money. Like, they don't have the liquid assets to continue to give these players guaranteed contracts, which is what all the players want now. Is the guaranteed money is what they really care about. Like, I'm all for making $45 million a year as a wide receiver, as long as 38 of it is guaranteed.
Right. Yep.
You know, and so they can't do it. So they're going to, I think they get a deal done with Jamar Chase. I can't imagine there's a world where they let him walk. But once that deal's done, you have no money to guarantee anybody anything.
And you're going to be starting from scratch on that defense yet again.
Exactly.
Try to bring players and try to get under the cap. And it's going to be a nightmare for that front office.
Ooh, this is a good question. It says, switch gears. How long before we see guaranteed money in college?
We're going to see a salary cap, I bet you, in the next 5 years.
But I think there's going to be guaranteed money. Absolutely. I would say they're going to start getting paid by the universities next year. Mm-hmm. I would give it 5 years max before there's some sort of. The problem is, so in order to give guaranteed money, you'd have to have contracts. In order to have contracts, they'd have to either be employees of the NCAA or the university, and there would have to be some sort of collective bargaining agreement, right? They'd have to be represented. And right now, the NCAA and the universities are pushing back on that because, A, there's a whole litany of issues that come with making them employees. You have to offer them health insurance. You have to offer them benefits. They're now state employees at State University. Like Ohio State University hires
like at Ohio State, they'd have to get PRS.
Yeah, they'd have to be Ohio State employees, and they would have to be given the same benefits and everything that professors, university employees are given. And that's expensive. And then on top of that, if you do it for the football team, you have to do it for every athletic team. Yep. So the fencing team that loses money every year is now going to be in PRS. They're going to get the same retirement benefits as every other university employee. They're going to get the same health insurance, everything like that. That's an expensive thing to do. So that's why they're pushing back on it. Eventually, it's already going to happen. It's going to happen. I think the Super League could potentially. The problem is with Title IX, it's going to be hard to get around. I mean, it's a mess. I don't have the answers. I'm not a lawyer, first of all. And second of all, I haven't spent enough time digging into it to know the right answer, because there isn't one right now. And trust me, there are people way smarter than me that are trying to figure out the answer to this question, and they haven't come up with it. But eventually there will be guaranteed money once there's contracts.
Yeah.
I think probably 5 years. That's my guess. But since we're on the topic of college football, one person with some guaranteed money that is going to keep his job. That I know you and Duke talked about it. God damn it. Hold on. Let me get to this first. Intriguing question. Players become employees. What's the statute of limitations on an employee-student relationship? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
If you make these college football players employees of the university, there are strict rules about them fraternizing with students. And so all those little girls that the players are running around with that aren't employees, now that's illegal. And how are you going to tell an 18-year-old kid it's illegal to to hook up with an 18-year-old girl? They're already banging recruiting girls and stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. But back to the topic. So obviously Billy Napier got the vote of confidence. You guys talked about it last night a bit. I did see today that I don't know how real this is or how much it went into the decision, but here, I'll put it up on the screen. You tell me if you've seen it or, kind of your thoughts on it. But this is what somebody, a source close to DJ Lagway said he doesn't want Napier to get fired. He loves the offense. The Gators got a guy that wants the Gator Nation to be great again. Funny timing to say great again. He sees the support this city and alumni have for him, hearing them scream his name as he got on that cart after the injury. That guy's a Gator. So this is a source close to DJ Lagway essentially saying
that's a big endorsement from your starting quarterback.
Absolutely, but he's essentially, I mean, it sounds like he was, I don't want to say involved in the decision to keep Napier, but it sounds like somebody talked to him about it.
Sounds like
which is crazy to me that if this is true, and let's say that the athletic director went to DJ Lagway and was like, hey, you are a great player. You're the future. We want to keep you. We're thinking about moving on from Napier. If we can get the right guy, would you be okay with that? And he says no. Could you imagine asking an 18-year-old kid his opinion on who the coach of the team should be?
Yeah, I mean, even an 18-year-old kid making that decision, be like, no, like I want to stick with coach. I want Coach Napier. I don't want a new guy.
Well, obviously, Coach Napier recruited him. Obviously, he's going to stick by his guy.
Yeah,
but I think it's crazy. And I saw this, and my first thought was, first of all, he's an 18-year-old kid. He has no idea what's best for him or
right. He's making adult decisions. I mean, technically he is an adult, but he's making adult, quote unquote, business decisions.
Yeah. And if you're the athletic director, so Florida's an interesting situation right now because they don't have a president. Their president is an interim president that was picked by the athletic director. So who's going to fire the athletic director, right? Like that his buddy that he put in charge isn't until they get a real president. But if I'm the athletic director of a university, let's say I'm Gene Smith or Ross Bjork now at Ohio State, and Ryan Day is 5-5 right now, which first of all, if he was, he'd be fired already. But let's just hypothetically. Am I going to Julian Sain and saying, hey, dude, if we fire Day, you staying? And he goes, no, I only play for Day. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep him. Like, as the athletic director, you're tying your job now to an 18-year-old kid.
Your ass is on the line.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't know how real it is. I can't imagine that they would actually talk to a player about this. So maybe this is just somebody that talked to DJ and DJ's like, man, I hope they don't fire Napier. And that was the
and they just ran with it.
Yeah. Maybe that's all it was. I don't know for sure. But it's crazy to me, the thought, and with the way college football is going right now, with obviously the South Carolina player putting his price tag out there publicly and all of that, it's wild. And yes, absolutely. NFL quarterbacks get coaches fired and hired all the time. Now the difference with that is those are grown men, and usually the only ones that can get coaches hired or fired are established quarterbacks that have won something, like Rodgers. Like you said, he won a Super Bowl. So if he doesn't like the coach, he can say so. He's also 40. He's not 18.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what I saw around the social universe today. I thought it was interesting stuff. Now, before we get into kind of the games coming up this weekend, I know we have some breakdowns to go through and everything like that. I do want to take a minute. Everybody out there watching, if you're on Twitter, YouTube, anything like that, hop over to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, make sure you click all. That way you get notified 30 minutes ahead of time when we're going to go live. Me, Duke, and Richie are on here damn near every day. Usually 7:30 Monday through Fridays. It'll be me and Duke on Monday and Wednesday, Duke and Richie on Tuesday and Thursday, and then Friday is me and Richie. Duke might hop on every now and then if his schedule allows. And then Saturdays, just depends on the schedule of games and what we got going on, but we'll hop on at usually around like 4 o'clock or something like that, like in between the noon and 3:30 games or right as the 3:30 games kick off, something. But so appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Again, live show tomorrow, Cigar 30 in Canton, Ohio. Show up. We're going to get kicked off at noon. Show up, show out, all that. But we got some football tonight, Rich.
We do.
Yeah, we got a couple games. And so the first one, which is, I think they're both actually, I think it's just now starting, is the Cal Wake Forest game, which honestly a snooze fest. I'm not too interested in it, but Cal was interesting at one point, right? They took Miami to the wire. They had some interesting games early. You got Cal favored by 7 points as they kick off right now on the ACC network. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Cal covers?
I think Cal covers.
I do too. Wake Forest is mediocre. I think Cal's mediocre. Obviously, they're both 4-4, but at least Cal has shown me they fight. Like they played one of the better teams in the country close. They had, I want to say they upset. Oh no, that wasn't really an upset. They beat Florida State, which is not saying much.
But
hold on. What's Zach saying now? Are we treating these kids the same? Also, asinine as unproven, but still. I'm gonna need more context. Treating the kids as the same as what? As Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers? No, I hope we're not treating the kids as the same as Aaron Rodgers. That would be I just don't think that. Yeah, and are you saying it's asinine that I said Rodgers is proven, or that I said Lagway is unproven?
There you go.
But otherwise, the big game tonight, the one that I'm going to watch, kicks off 9 o'clock, Fox. You have Iowa taking on UCLA, a true Big Ten matchup. Iowa favored by 6.5. This one, I think, could get interesting. Obviously, Iowa's 6-3, UCLA's 3-5. What do you think about this one? Because I have my own thoughts.
Hey, I think Iowa, they're starting to come around. Caleb Johnson's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he is. No, Caleb Johnson's a phenomenal. Obviously, he's got almost 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. He's one back of Ashton Genty for the leader in the nation in rushing touchdowns. Kid's having a hell of a year.
He's the Big Ten leading rusher too. Do I stand correct? Yeah.
He leads the Big Ten in rushing yards, and he's second in the nation in rushing touchdowns. But here, I'm telling you, man, I got a feeling about this one. I think UCLA upsets them.
I think Iowa. They're gonna use the forward passes tonight. They're going
to forward pass. Cade McNamara.
Cade McNamara. Who's the starting quarterback? They had a different quarterback last week.
Yeah, I think McNamara either retired or got hurt or something. I don't remember.
Something happened last week. It was like some other. He's wearing.
Yeah, I think McNamara is not starting anymore. I'll pull it up. But yeah, I think they have some quarterback issues. I know that. Let me see here. Yeah, it's Bart Sullivan or Brett Sullivan, whatever.
Brett Sullivan. That name sounds familiar.
Brendan Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah.
He, I believe, is starting again this week. He not been great.
Michigan State last week.
No, he went. Let's see here. Against no. He played Wisconsin last week.
Oh, was it Wisconsin? That's who it was.
Yeah, he went 7-10 for 93 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he threw.
Yeah, that's high school numbers.
I don't know how long he played because I think McNamara got hurt in that game, but
yeah.
he went 7-10 for 93 yards. Just take a guess at how his longest completion, how long it was.
Probably 3 yards.
52.
Jesus.
So 52 of his 93 yards came on one pass. which is interesting. Elite. So yeah, I'm taking UCLA to cover, maybe even UCLA to win. I think Iowa gets taken kind of back to reality. They thought they were something early in the year. Like I remember when they came into Ohio State, everybody was talking like, I don't know, don't sleep on this Iowa team. And I just don't think Iowa's good. I don't care that they got rid of Kirk Ferentz's son or whatever. The
nepotism. Get rid of that nepotism.
Hey, I don't want to hear anything about nepotism, right? Apparently. Nepotism makes the world go round, all right?
Reminds me of that Office episode.
Yeah, right. But I mean, hey, there is no nepotism, all right? LeBron James just sent his own son to the G League.
I knew he was going to the G League. I said he's G League bound. He's going to the South Bay Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might be coming to Cleveland this year. The Cleveland Charge. Might have to go catch it.
Get some cheap tickets there.
Oh, dude, I know some people.
Oh, of course you do. What else is new? All right, let's see what Zach has. He's got some good questions tonight, so we'll roll with this before we jump into our Colorado breakdown. Good topic to switch gears. Who's entering the portal here in a month?
Ooh.
How much more does college football offseason become interesting in the offseason? You have any inclinations of who's going to enter the portal?
I think Lincoln Kienholz enters the portal next year.
Yeah, I think Kienholz is definitely one that I could see. I think that would be. He's going to stick the rest of the season out, obviously.
He'll stick,
maybe a winter portal. I think a spring portal one for Ohio State that you should watch for is Devin Brown. I think he could enter the portal in the spring if and when he loses the job to Sane. Outside of Ohio State, just guys that I could see entering the portal. Let me think here. Obviously, Miller Moss is rumored to be entering the portal to go to Michigan. That one came out today. Which I think is hilarious because Miller Moss has not been good. And so it would just be Michigan getting another mediocre quarterback that's similar to Davis Warren. Except for at least Miller Moss was highly recruited where Davis Warren was a walk-on. Outside of that, let me think here.
I need running backs. I'm trying to think running backs-wise.
Running backs.
Does Peoples hit the portal?
No, because Trey and Quinshon are gone. People's going to be good to go. Let's think. I think Quinn Ewers. If you want to know somebody that I think will hit the portal, I think Quinn Ewers hits the portal. And here's why. I think by the end of the year, unless Georgia gets back on track this week, I think Arch Manning takes over that job by the end of the year. And I think Quinn Ewers has hurt his draft stock so much that he has to come back for another year.
Yep.
And Texas is ready to move on to Arch Manning. It's Arch Manning time. And so I think it's going to be a similar situation to what happened to Dylan Gabriel, what happened to Will Johnson or to Will Howard, where you started here, but we got this young guy who we're ready to start in Jackson Arnold or in Avery Johnson. So you're going to have to go find a place. So I think Quinn Ewers hits the portal. Maybe not in the month, but after the season. I think that's one that you could see. Trying to think of who else. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be the biggest name in the portal.
Any wideouts?
Yeah, I think that's wideouts. I don't think there's going to be any real big names. Like Jeremiah Smith's not going anywhere. Ryan Williams isn't going anywhere. You got to think about people that might lose their job or might leave their job. Like if Dan Lanning were to leave Oregon, that's going to open up their portal and
Yeah.
I don't think Dan Lanning's leaving anytime soon. But let's say Curt Cignetti takes a job. You might see some of those Indiana players hit the portal.
Some of those guys that came from JMU who
are obviously really good. Trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I think that about covers it. I wouldn't be shocked if you want to go Notre Dame route. I wouldn't be shocked if you see Steve Angeli hit the portal. I wouldn't be shocked if you see Notre Dame fans will kill me if I say this one. I wouldn't be shocked if you see KVA hit the portal. Just because I don't know. I think he wanted to go to Notre Dame, and I think he likes it, but he's such a talented player. It wouldn't shock me, I guess, but I hope it doesn't happen. But other than that, yeah, I mean, the portal is going to be fun. And how much more does college football offseason has been so much more interesting because of the portal specifically.
Yeah,
it's almost like NBA free agency.
College football free, it's like NFL free agency, but on the college level, you know?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like I hate the NBA. I do not watch it. But NBA free agency is wild. One of the most entertaining things in the summer of anything, you know, like, so I think that it absolutely. So the thing that college football has done by allowing this portal nonsense is they've turned their product into a 12-month a year news cycle. Which is what the NFL did, which is what the NBA is doing, which is what the MLB is trying to do, which is what every sports league tries to do, because in season it's easy. Like, trust me, as somebody that started a podcast in the off season, coming up with content in the off season is way fucking harder than trying to come up with content in season. We have games to talk about, but in the off season it's hard, because there's nothing going on. But with the portal and everything like that, and recruiting and people switching and flipping and going to different schools, it's created a 12-month news cycle for college football.
Right.
And that just generates more revenue for the sport. And so you're going to continue to see it grow that way. But absolutely, I think the portal, regardless of all its negative side effects, I think it's doing some positive things for the sport.
Right, I would agree. Yeah,
but let's get into we got a few games this weekend that I really want to dive into. I think you and Duke. I had my kids, so I wasn't really listening, paying attention. I tried to chime in when I could, but we had a couple games this weekend, and we'll jump into the first one. That was the one that I really, when I was breaking down, because we've broken down games all week, so I try to find new games to break down and new interesting matchups, and I didn't think about this one early in the week, but the more I've looked at it, Colorado has a real shot to make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they do. Where they stick them at? Number 18?
Something like that. Yeah, it was right around there. But I mean, their only way in, I believe, is if they win the Big 12.
Yeah.
And so, but they have a shot to do that, assuming they can run the table and get there. Now, I looked at, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, Colorado, Texas Tech. Texas Tech probably sucks. Like, that's a dumb game. But then I started looking at it more, and I was like, you know what? Let me look at this. This game's going to be interesting, man. I think this game's going to be really interesting. And I put together a little breakdown that I know you've had a little bit of a time to review. And I guess just give me your thoughts when you look at everything that I broke down. Just what are your thoughts, first glance, on what could happen this weekend? Because you got 6-2 Colorado taking on 6-3 Texas Tech.
I think, the offenses are going to be putting up some numbers. I think, Colorado averaging 31.4 points per game. Texas Tech with that air raid offense, 36, 20th out of 130 schools. That's pretty damn good for being a 3-5 team, 4-5 team.
6-3. They're 6-3.
Texas Tech is?
Yeah. Colorado's 6-2 and Tech is 6-3.
Who was I thinking was like a losing team last week? Maybe it was somebody else.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean that's pretty good for where they're at in the league. Rushing 164, no, almost 165 yards for the year. And
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, man, they're rushing. Ugh. Dead
Yeah.
last. Dead ass last.
Yeah.
I mean, Kent State's ahead of them. The
Fucking
Golden
Kent
Flashes, who
State.
got destroyed against the Bobcats.
Yeah. No, yeah. So like I've broken down kind of my method on here before as to what I look at when I analyze a game. First thing I look at is film, which I've watched Colorado. I have not watched Texas Tech at all. So I can't tell you from a film perspective anything about them. But once I look at the film and the breakdowns from the film and everything like that, then I start to analyze statistics. I don't use statistics as an end all be all because not everybody's played the same teams, right? Like in the NFL, you can use those a little more accurately because even if you played an easier schedule in the NFL, it's all professional athletes, right? But when you look at this, the first thing I look at is obviously scoring defense, how good's their defense, and then you get into the efficiency numbers like red zone, third down, things like that. When you look at it, I mean, it's a damn near even matchup. Points per game on offense, they're both right around 31 to 36 points. Total offense, Texas has the better offense by a little bit. Texas has the better rushing offense. Colorado's got the better passing offense. Scoring defense, you score like so the defense is where you see a little difference. So Colorado has the 43rd best scoring defense, giving up only 22 points a game, whereas you get into Texas Tech's defense, 119th in scoring, 130th in total defense, 78th in rushing, and 133rd in passing defense. So the Texas Tech defense is going to struggle.
They're going to struggle. I mean, especially, Travis Hunter.
And the thing is Colorado has the 8th best passing offense in the country, and they're going up against the second to last, almost the damn near worst passing defense in the country. Now, the good news is Colorado's defense isn't that much better. No. Right? They're top 75 in total defense, top 80 in rushing, top 50 almost in passing defense, and they're going up against a top 20 offense. And so it looks to me when you look at scoring, Colorado's middle of the road in scoring defense. Obviously, Texas Tech is top 20 in scoring offense. Colorado's middle of the road in scoring offense. Texas Tech is goddamn near the bottom in scoring defense. So it just looks to me like this could be a shootout because what Texas Tech does well on offense is move the ball. They move the ball pretty efficiently, usually a little better through the air, but they have a decent running game. And the rushing defense for Colorado is not good. So they should be able to move the ball on the ground. They should be able to move the ball through the air. The thing is Colorado is going to face almost no resistance moving the ball. Because what they do, they don't run the ball anyways. And the only thing that this defense does decently in Texas Tech is run defense. So they're going to abandon the run pretty early and just let Shador go out and fucking show out.
Just chuck it.
And so now the only thing that I will say is that the when you look at the efficiency numbers, which is where when I have two teams that are somewhat evenly matched, usually games are won by third down efficiency, red zone efficiency, and turnovers. When you look at turnovers, evenly matched, they both are middle of the road. Neither one turns it over a ton. Colorado turns it over a little bit more, but they also force more turnovers. So pretty even there. Third down offense, they both are around 30 to 25th. Third down defense, right middle of the road again. Right. But the red zone efficiency is where you really see the difference. On offense, Colorado is only the 72nd best team in the country at scoring in the red zone. Not touchdowns, just getting points. Whereas Colorado is top 6 in the country in scoring offense in the red zone. So if they can move the ball and get into the red zone, Colorado is going to come away with points less times than Texas Tech, which you got to get in the red zone first. Yeah. So when I look at it, it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Colorado wins. And Zach said it. If Colorado wins, this solidifies Prime as head coach. This is a must win for Prime.
Yes.
And I think that's the difference. I think Prime still has the ability to coach. I think he can win this game. If he doesn't, though, all the hopes and dreams of Colorado die on Saturday.
Yep.
And so right now, Vegas has Colorado favored by 3 points.
I'm thinking 45-42 Colorado.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think it might come down to I wouldn't be shocked if it came down to Colorado going for 2 at the end of the game to win it. Like, like last night, but they actually convert.
Yeah.
But so that game will be fun. And then another one that we have going on that I think is sneaky good. Neither one is really in position to push for the playoffs or anything like that. But we have South Carolina, who obviously has had some really impressive wins, but then also some really mind-boggling losses. They just obviously upset A&M 44-20. And they're facing Mexicana Manziel, Diego Pavia, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Yeah, Commodores.
Commodores, yeah, you're right.
And it's baby. In Nashville. Tomorrow, 4:15 p.m. South Carolina's favored by 3 right now. I don't know. I think Vandy's kind of a team of destiny this year. Not destiny to like win anything that matters, but just to make themselves relevant. I like Vandy in this one.
I like Vandy too, Carter.
I think when you look at it,
they've been handling they've been holding their weight against the big dogs of the SEC this year.
Absolutely. And like obviously everybody knows they have the big upset over Alabama. They've also beaten Auburn, so they own the state of Alabama right now.
Roll Tide.
But you look at their losses. They had a real bad loss to. They lost by 4, but it was just a questionable loss. They lost to Georgia State, which was wild.
Yeah,
but then
that is.
Other than that, they lost by 3 to Missouri. Who Missouri is a decent team. They've beaten Alabama. They beat Kentucky. They lost by 3 to Texas.
Yeah.
And then they beat Auburn. They've looked pretty good. So this one I think is going to be an interesting game. And here's the crazy part. So obviously, Vandy's pretty much out as far as playoffs or as far as SEC competition, everything like that. But do you know who they end the season with the next 2 games after South Carolina?
The Bayou Bengals and the Volunteers of Tennessee.
Yeah, LSU and Tennessee. And, ask Texas. Ask Alabama if it's easy, especially for Tennessee, who has to go to Nashville.
Yeah. They got the fire in their belly. I think they're going to lay it all out. They're going to let it all hang out there in the last 2 weeks of this month, the last 2 games of the year, and try and pull some upsets. Try and get, say, hey, we're here with the big dogs. We're for real here this year.
Well, and that Tennessee game, a lot of people don't realize that that's a rivalry game.
Right. Yeah.
And it's because it's almost like Ohio State, Michigan 4 years ago. Like, it's a rivalry by name.
Yeah.
But I'm kidding. That game's totally different. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. But no, so that'll be interesting. I think Vanderbilt, I really think Vanderbilt gets it done this Saturday. If it was in South Carolina, I would go the complete other way. Yeah, South Carolina is one of the hardest places to play in the country. I don't care what anybody tells you. Go to a game there. You will not regret it. And then obviously the big matchup of the weekend, I think this is essentially a playoff game.
Yes. The preliminary, what do you want to call it?
Like a play-in game almost, but they still have the rest of their schedule.
Qualifier game, bracket buster Saturday game, shit like that.
They're part of those group of teams that are like the 65 through 68 that get into the 64 team tournament if they win. But they still have to play the rest of their schedule too. But you got Alabama LSU in Death Valley, 7:30 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. I mean, this one, this is what ESPN dreams of. Like, this is what college football is about. This is everything you want in a game. And so I broke this one down because I was really interested to look at everything. I've watched so many games of both these teams. Like I watched the all 22 of Alabama, Georgia, watched the all 22 of LSU, USC, and LSU, A&M. And so I've watched these teams a lot. And when I look at just from the film, I want to go Alabama right off the bat. I think Alabama's a better football team. I think that's just where I naturally trend towards, just looking at the film. But then I like I said, I like to look at the film, make my pick, and then erase that from my memory and go analyze everything else and see if the analytics and the numbers and everything else supports what I saw on film. And in this case, it's another matchup of teams that are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, it's pretty even down the board. I mean,
yeah, like there's nothing that jumps out at me. I guess the one thing that I would say, like, Alabama's pretty middle of the road at everything. Like, their offense isn't prolific. Their defense isn't tremendous. They do have a top 20 scoring defense, so they keep people from scoring, but that could be, obviously, that's just points per game, so it could be skewed by some of the weaker opponents they've played. But their efficiency is very middle of the road. They have a decent third down defense. You look at LSU, their scoring is top 35, not impressive. Top 20 offense. The one thing that LSU has that can save them, because they have one of the worst rushing attacks in the country, 111th in rushing. But they also have the number 6 passing offense in the country. And I just look at this and I think, when it comes down to this, like, you look at these teams and they're so evenly matched across the board. They've both faced good teams. They've both faced bad teams. So the rankings are the rankings. I don't think there's a Duke. Apparently he's in here talking. He said quarterback. I agree to a degree. Like, if Jalen Milroe's on, he's a better quarterback than Garrett Nussmeier. He's just inconsistent. So I don't know what quarterback's going to show up.
Right.
Yeah, I have more faith in Nussmeier, I guess, maybe. But Nussmeier also threw 3 picks in the second half last week. I don't know. I think
which version of Nussmeier will we get tomorrow when the stage is set and all eyes are on him? Is he going to buckle under the pressure, or is he going to?
Yeah, I mean, because a couple weeks ago he didn't. A couple weeks ago, he didn't buckle under the pressure. He won the game. And then last week, he threw 3 picks in the second half. I don't know. I don't know who we're going to get. And the same with Jalen Milroe. When Jalen Milroe is on, he's an exceptional player and athlete and a good quarterback. Not great, but he's a great athlete and a great player when he's on.
Yes.
When he's off, he's terrible. And I think it's hard for me, having been to Death Valley. It's hard for me to look at this game, look at these two teams, and say Alabama can go in there and win the game. Because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either one of them look elite at really anything.
Right.
I've seen them be good. I've seen them be almost great at times, and I've seen them be bad. LSU lost to USC. That's all you need to know. But that was at USC, first game of the year. Let's give them a pass.
First game jitters. Yep.
Now you go into Death Valley at night, where I've told story after story after story about what that place is like. I mean, my dad got damn near assaulted after hanging out with these dudes all day. Like, he's wearing a black t-shirt, right? And he is playing cornhole, drinking with these guys, tailgating. Gets time to go in the game. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to go grab my coat. Throws on a Florida coat. And the same guys that he was just dapping up, like hanging out with, are like, oh, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Like, damn near assaulted him. And I've seen him put goddamn AAA batteries inside marshmallows and chuck them at opposing.
Chuck them.
Like,
I mean, the fans would even spit on some of the players.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of the
too.
craziest environments you have ever seen. Now, Alabama's no stranger to crazy environments, don't get me wrong. But DeBoer might be. I mean, DeBoer was at Alabama as an assistant, but as a head coach, like, you think Washington was walking into Death Valley? No.
He wouldn't do it. No.
So it'll be interesting. I think if I had to pick one right now, and I don't know, so all that aside, if you say they're pretty much equal on paper, right? Obviously give a little edge to LSU because they are at home, right?
At home, yeah.
But what it really comes down to is the coaches, I think. Now, what coach do you trust more?
As much as I hate to say it, Brian Kelly.
You won't hear those words come out of my mouth, but I'm just.
I know you won't. I'm
just gonna nod.
I know for good reason, but.
But yeah, I can't argue with that because I haven't seen DeBoer do it.
No,
and to be completely honest, up until Brian Kelly went to LSU, I hadn't seen him do it. But I saw LSU beat Alabama in Brian Kelly's first year. I saw LSU go to an SEC title in Brian Kelly's first year. I've seen him do this before at LSU. Now at Notre Dame, I never trusted him to beat anybody that was not a regular season foe, right? Like as soon as he went to the playoffs and faced a team with a pulse, he tucked his tail and took it like
Clemson
a man.
One year when they scored,
Clemson, Bama, you name it. Hell, Florida State. They almost beat Florida State, but so because of the coach and everybody who listens to this show regularly knows how much this hurts me to say, but because of the coach, because of the environment, I'm picking LSU to win. I think LSU wins and ends Alabama's hope at a playoff berth because I don't care what happens. There's not a 3-loss team making it.
There's no way.
Nothing. So that's my analysis. You can come for me in the comments. I don't care. I've been right about most things. Florida's still going 5-7. I said that the ceiling for Michigan was 8-4. They'll be lucky to get there. You're about to get banned. Never say those words again. Chris loves cancer. I don't love Brian Kelly. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Richie, unless you got something else to say, we'll go ahead and get out of here. That was a good little Friday night show.
No, I got nothing else, man. Just one last reminder, everybody. Cigar 30, 12 o'clock, live show, the members lounge. See you all there.
Absolutely. I'll put it up on the screen one more time here, and we'll get out of here. Cigar 30 tomorrow, 12 p.m., noon o'clock, a little nooner for you. Come hang out, get a cigar. If you don't like cigars, that's fine. You don't have to have a cigar. They smell nice.
They smell nice. They got beer there. They got
beer. They got bourbon. He was telling me about that bourbon selection. It's pretty legit. Good prices too.
You'd love it, Carter. Yeah. You would love it.
Good prices. So come hang out, have a drink, watch some football, interact with us, and then obviously we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah,
at noon, going live on YouTube. If you can't make it to the show, tune in on YouTube. We're going to go through, we're going to try to get some fun interactions going here and get some things we can do, but definitely get in the comments. We'll read them like we always do and put them on the show and get some interactions there. But thank you again. And make sure if this is your first time listening or you just are one of those guys that listens sometimes and hasn't done it, go hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. We're also on PodBean, Apple Music, Spotify, everywhere. Just go hit like and subscribe. Turn the notifications on so you know when we go live. It's the little bell right there. Make sure you click all.
Click all.
Apparently, that's the only way to actually get notified.
Because that was something I never knew about until the other night.
Yeah, exactly. You learn something new every day, Rich. But thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you guys tomorrow at the live show or at least in the YouTube.
That's right. Catch you later, everybody.